And welcome to yet another episode of the Mental Takedown. A little embarrassing confession to make at the top of today's show. I'm your host, Daniel Shee, confessing to you that when I went on my latest hiatus, I thought I had cleared out shop and released all my old episodes, but apparently, to my horror, I had not. And this episode was recorded quite a few months ago. This was kind of in the off season, I believe in August, give or take. And since then, unfortunately, one of today's returns guests, one of, I think, the coolest people in all of college wrestling, Brandon Paetzell, has torn his labrum, and he will be back for a 7th year pending a medical red shirt approval. Not to be outdone is his former teammate and good friend Luke Karam, who now is at West Virginia and is going to absolutely tear it up this year and has the better hair of all three of us combined in this episode. So enjoy, and again, as always, we'll see you on the other side. Okay, lovely. Joining us today is not one, but two former teammates, Luke Karam and Brandon Paetzell. Luke is now with West Virginia, and Brandon is still chugging away at Lehigh, and both of them are entering their... Is it fair to call you a senior, Luke, even though you have 2 years?
Call me a super senior, sure.
How are we doing today, gents?
We're doing fine. I'm chilling.
Don't afraid to step on each other. I'll be kind of the, whatever. You'll step on each other. Don't be shy now, just because there's two of y'all. All right. Well, I guess the break between kind of season to season is extremely long, and we don't get much update from you guys in between. And I guess we'll just go, whoever wants to go first, and however elaborate you want to be, just kind of, how have you been ever since the last season ended and we saw you on national television and then you disappeared into the dark for 5 months?
I've been good since the season ended, so after it ended, I kind of took some time to reflect on how my year didn't go like the way I had planned. And obviously things were crazy with COVID and stuff for me. But I mean, that's, how it was for everybody. So I kind of had to look at the bigger picture and just, notice that there were bigger things going on in life. But yeah, so I took some time and then I got right back to the grind and was grinding away up until about, I'd say sometime in July. And that's when I started to, as I told you before, I started grad school. And so I've been plugging away with that. So I unfortunately haven't been able to train as much in the room this summer. So it's been a little bit different this off season, but, I've been grinding and I've been putting a lot of miles on the treadmill. So I'm looking forward to getting back on the mat soon here.
Like Brandon said, after the season's over, you pretty much take some time to reflect, on yourself, your life, your lifestyle, what you're doing, how you can improve to be better, as a person, as a wrestler also. So it's just been a really great change of scenery here. I got down to West Virginia in July, and it's been awesome, just a fresh start, some new faces, and Tim Flynn's just an awesome dude. I love him already. So I can't wait to get back to competing.
So how did you, I'm curious, because both of y'all actually transferred. I don't know if people remember. Brandon, yours was what, half a decade ago now?
Yeah, a long time ago.
So how did y'all kind of go through the emotions of kind of breaking the news to everybody and kind of, I mean, I know Brandon moved like what, a couple 100 miles, and Luke moved across like 5 state lines. So how'd y'all go?
I'm up state line. PA, West Virginia is connected. I think the people that really care about you, like in the organization, at the college, your teammates, I mean, they understand like you're making this change because you think it's the best decision for you. I'm sure Brandon can attest to that too. Like, at the end of the day, wrestling is a team sport, but you have to do what's best for you for the team, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. As much as it is a team sport, I feel like it's an individual sport first because if you focus on everybody else, then you're not doing your job. And I know that if you focus on yourself and being the best version of yourself and taking care of you, and you put that product out on the mat, that's gonna. And if 10 guys do that, that's gonna breed really good results. But yeah, back to the transfer thing. I mean, it was obviously a tough decision. But like Luke said, it's kind of one of those things where, wrestling's a little bit of a selfish sport and you really just have to do what's best for you. And, the people that truly care about you will definitely support you in whatever decisions you make.
Any culture shock for you, Luke? What's the one thing that you didn't expect at West Virginia, just lifestyle-wise?
Lifestyle-wise, all the people, to be honest with you, all the students got down here this week. It's packed. I'm used to Lehigh with I don't know. There's not that many students at Lehigh. I think there's like 40,000 people out here now. So I think Lehigh has like 8,000, something like that. So it's pretty crazy with the change of scenery for sure.
That's like the reverse transfer for me because I went from like 50,000 students at Rutgers and like having to take buses to every campus, being a state school to, 4,000, 5,000 students and just, walk into every class. So it was definitely a different culture here, but I love it at Lehigh.
So have we indulged Luke at all in West Virginia tailgating and football? Have the rumors started to spin yet?
No, I don't. Football didn't start yet. No, I just been focusing on myself, to be honest with you. Staying away from campus. I'm just doing my own thing. So
I guess both of y'all have been doing this a long time, much longer than I've even been watching the sport. As Brenton knows, I'm new to this thing. When you reflect and think back on kind of when you first got into college, what are some of the things that you remember that you're just kind of like, wow, I can't believe I once was there?
A big one for me, honestly, it goes back to when I was at Rutgers yet again, was my true freshman year. And I'll never forget this. I wrestled Darian at Grace Hall. And that was just like such a cool memory because like I always looked up to Darian and I've gone to the matches at Grace for so many years that I've always wanted to wrestle there. And so it was just like pretty special to be able to wrestle somebody that I looked up to. And also just wrestle, in that environment. Also, a lot of my home fans, because I'm so local, came out to that match. The funny thing is, I got my butt kicked. I almost got teched, so that was pretty bad. But it was still a cool experience, and it's just like it's funny how it comes full circle because literally like 2-3 months after that, I was texting Darian back and forth, and we were like good friends at that point, and I had worked on the transfer at that point as well. So it's just funny how, I got my butt kicked by him in March or February maybe. And then, a couple months later we were teammates. It's just pretty funny how that works.
I think it's like coming out of high school, going to college, you just have like so much, at least for me personally, you have so much respect for like the guys that wrestle at the next level. You look up to them all the time. You're looking at, college wrestling, you're watching the season progress from high school. Then once you get in there, you're kind of like, wow, I'm here, and you got to kind of remind yourself, you're just as good as these guys and like you can wrestle with them. I know, at least for me, when I was a true freshman, it took me a couple of months before I started like opening up and being like, oh yeah, I can like roll with these guys. I can score on them. So I think a lot of true freshmen coming in there intimidated for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a big mindset thing too. Like, like you said, Luke, you're at that level, but like, at least for me, I didn't believe that I was at that level yet, and it took me a couple of years to truly believe that I could like compete with the top guys.
All right, y'all knew some form of this question was going to come. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had both of y'all on at the same time. First impressions of each other.
We have a storied history. We wrestled in like middle school. I've known Brandon for a long time.
Dude, I don't know how you think of it, Luke, but like I viewed you as a rival back then. That was the funny thing. Okay, so I have a little a mini story. So like we were a little bit of rivals, and like I was always on the losing end of that. Like I don't think I ever beat Luke. And so we wrestled at the cadet duels, I believe, in like Daytona Beach. And I actually told him this story since we became teammates. So he knows it. But we were wrestling. I was wrestling for Team New Jersey. He was wrestling for Team PA. And it was a tight team race, and I think our match was pretty close too. I could be wrong, but I might have been winning like the period. This was back when we had like, the 3-period system in freestyle. So I might have been winning, or it was pretty close. And I get it on the shot, and he like steps over with a Mallory and pins me. And that I literally went in the back and I like threw my wrestling bag in the garbage, and I was like, I'm quitting. So that goes to show you the history of our rivalry.
I don't know. Like I said, I think it's totally different. Like when you like see someone else from like a different perspective, you wrestle them and they're on a different team. But then like once you get to know them, you're on the same team, you train with them. I mean, you see that person for who they really are. I mean, Brandon, I would call Brandon a great friend at this point, to be honest. But I mean, first time when I met him, I was like, oh, I gotta wrestle this kid again, Unreal.
I was gonna say, did it take a minute? Like it was there like a couple weeks of feeling each other out? Like,
yeah, I mean, I was in the Lehigh room, and like honestly, once I had decided to transfer and like it was known to everybody, everyone was like pretty welcoming, Luke included. And I just remember him saying like, he's like, oh, so you're coming here? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh yeah, man, it's gonna be awesome. We're gonna have a good time, So I was like, oh, we're cool, And then that set the tone for it. So.
well, for the sake of argument, we'll just say that, well, Brandon, you've got one more, and then Luke, you've got 2 more years. I guess I don't even know where to begin on COVID. Is it still a burden at this point in terms of the season and training and whatnot?
I know at least where I'm at. I mean, it's pretty much been like a non-factor at all. I'm just going about my normal life, practicing, lifting. I mean, no restrictions at all. I don't know what it's like at Lehigh. I can't speak on that. What changed from last year to this year, but I know where I'm at. Everything's just been, full sail.
Yeah, I would agree. Last season, obviously, we know how that went down. That was not a great situation for anyone. But since it ended, with the vaccine rolling out and stuff, pretty much everything's been right, 100% back to normal. I would say. We're getting our lifts in and practices in as a team. So pretty much no restrictions at this point.
For lack of a better term, did it alleviate a lot more mental pressure? And do you think it's going to alleviate a lot more mental pressure going into this year?
I think this year is going to be like one of the best NCAA wrestling seasons you could ask for, especially last year with the Ivies, being out of it. I think a lot of guys are going to come back, extremely hungry this year. And I think pressure-wise, there's no pressure. A lot of these guys, I mean, they have an extra year now. I mean, so just go out there, give it all you can. Whatever happens, happens. A lot of them already compete at the NCAA tournament 4 times, 3 times, whatever it is. So I don't really think there's a lot of mental pressure there for a lot of guys still competing.
Yeah, I think the COVID situation definitely alleviates like a tremendous amount of pressure, especially for me. And it's just like, last season we were going through the whole season and like we were told that we were going to be shut down. How many times? I don't even know. So many times. So basically it seemed like every week it was, the last week for us. So it's nice to know that, at least in this point in time, we're going to have a full season and there's no stress about, us getting shut down.
Now, both of y'all being kind of senior members of the team, senior meaning kind of older and more senior, for lack of a better. I'm great with linguistics. Geez, Luke, you're an English major. I need serious help. Jesus Christ. Anyway, both of y'all, how would y'all describe your leadership roles on your team?
I would say I'm a lead by example kind of guy. I'm not like the most vocal leader. I've tried to get better at that. That's something I'm trying to, improve upon. But I would say I'm just a lead by example guy. I live right, I work hard, I eat right, and I just try to do those things and hopefully other guys will follow.
Yeah, just like Brandon said, I mean, it's weird for me. It's different. I barely know these guys. I mean, I've been training with them 4 weeks now, so at all by any stretch. I'm just gonna go in, and do what I do. Work hard, train right, eat right, and if it's working for me, I hope they see that and they jump on.
Was it hard to immediately show your personality, not knowing like these guys on a personal level? Because they'll all be welcoming, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know who would be not welcoming to the new guy, and just but was it hard to kind of be yourself right away? And have you found, I guess, 4 weeks in, you found it?
I'd say it's definitely different, especially from like Brandon transferred when he was still in undergrad. He was a young guy still. For me, I mean, I'm old. I'm going into my 6th year of college at this point. I'd really socially, I mean, it's whatever. I'm just here to wrestle. I'm here to wrestle and do the best I can. So I think my personality comes out through that. At the end of the day, it's as long as I'm competing at a high level, wrestling at a high level, everything's fine.
I can also answer that question, being that I transferred as well. It was definitely difficult for me to be myself, my first year at Lehigh. And just like, honestly, as much as like welcome as the team was, they were as welcoming as I could have ever wished. It was still really difficult for me to like get out of my shell and be myself. So it took me, I would say, like my whole redshirt year to like feel like I wasn't like just the transfer guy, but after that first year there, I was like, all right, I'm really like part of this family now, like everyone's been saying.
Brandon, I want to go back to something you said. You said you're not vocal. Like, you talk to me more than any other guest I had. So all the people you choose to talk to me, Jesus.
I enjoy it, man. Come on.
All right. I don't believe you, but okay. All right, we gotta sprinkle in something fun. Okay. Humor me for a minute. What do you think would happen if the two of y'all switched or had a hair just for a day?
Hair for oh, come on. I don't know if I can't rock that.
Dude,
I rock long curly flow all the time. I couldn't do it. It's not.
I'll tell you this: if I had lose my hair for a day, I would get a perm instantly.
No shot. Perm's not the move. I couldn't let you do that. Talk you out of it.
So both of you are more pessimistic that you can't pull it off, no?
No, I think what we got works for us.
I agree.
Fair enough. I guess, what is kind of y'all's, do y'all have any, you can be as, secretive or not as you want, but do y'all have any, because y'all wrestled somewhat close to each other in the lineup and whatnot, whatever the order was. Did y'all have anything that y'all said to one another before and after each match and whatnot?
No, were we ever in the lineup together? I don't even think.
Yeah, that's a crazy thing. So like when I was redshirting, he was in the lineup, and then I think the next year, I forget what he was doing while I was 33, but I don't think he was the 41 pounder. And then the following year, I was our 25 pounder, and he was the 41, but he got hurt and ended up like getting surgery. So unfortunately, we didn't get a whole lot of lineup time together, but. I just remember like cheering him on like crazy whenever he was, and then I have videos of where I'm wrestling and I see him in the background like crazy. So, we always just support each other in that way.
Brandon's like the best guy you can ever cheer for at a wrestling match. He's energetic. He's full throttle all the time. It's so much fun watching him compete.
Thanks, brother.
So are y'all gonna keep tabs on each other now that y'all are what? I have no idea, and I don't even guess.
For sure. I mean, those guys at Lehigh are still my family at the end of the day. I did 5 years there. I hope they don't view me any differently,
Yeah, for sure, man. We'll definitely keep in touch. And we have been, I mean, I text him, he texts me every once in a while, and I'm just like, hey, how's WVU? How's everything going? So yeah, we're definitely gonna stay in touch, and hopefully we'll see each other at Midlands or some open tournament or something. At the very
And
least, I'll see him at nationals.
Well, I guess what are the differences between kind of going? Both of y'all are in grad school now, yeah. Both of y'all got your degrees and certification.
Yes, sir.
Yep. So, what are the differences between kind of going to grad school and still training and going through undergrad? Am I just off base here that there's no difference at all?
I don't know for him, but my grad program's all online. We don't have to meet at all. I got so much more free time. Like,
No way. I cannot relate, man.
I could literally just wrestle and chill. Like, yeah, I wish I had this for undergrad.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm jealous. No, mine is pretty much like I mean, I could answer this question a little bit better probably in like another month. But because summer classes are always more intensive, the courses are always condensed. But yeah, I could probably answer that question a little bit better, in like another month or so. But I would imagine it's going to be pretty similar to undergrad.
Luke, 10 out of the 15 minutes of me and Brandon's little small talk was just him telling me how overwhelmed he was with grad school. So I'm still stay time after this. Hopefully I'm not putting a wedge in between the two of y'all.
No shot. I think Lehigh's a little bit higher up there on the totem pole than WVU for education.
You said it, not me.
You said it, not me.
Exactly. So what is it? Is it just like you're in bed and logging into class and taking the quizzes while you're like
dude, it's always synchronous. There's no class. It's just a due date for the assignments. That's it.
Wow.
As long as it's in before 11:59:59. I know how the game is played.
Yeah.
Exactly. We all know how the game is played at this point. All right, well, I guess we'll kind of circle back to what one of y'all said earlier. I guess is Luke, are you more of a chill, laid back guy? Because Brandon will set the roof on fire of Grace Hall. I've seen it almost literally.
Me, I gotta score more on my feet. I'll tell you that. People will say that I can do it. I'm good on my feet. People sleep on me on my feet. I gotta stop relying so much on top. So that's just part of the evolving, part of the evolution process. In the room, I score on my feet. I know I have really good offense on my feet. I just gotta let it fly in matches. So I'm hoping to do that this year.
I would agree. Luke, I think, is underrated on his feet, and like his defense is so good. So like when we would scrap at Lehigh, like I would wrestle so hard and like take like 100 shots, and I would get to his legs like once maybe, and I wouldn't finish. Like his defense is so underrated. But he's also like really fun to watch. I'll never forget when I was redshirting. We were wrestling Penn State at the PP&L Center, and he's wrestling Jared Cortez, and he took bottom on Luke, and everyone like on our team just started going crazy cheering because we knew like Luke was gonna ride him out and win the match. So yeah, he's a hammer on top for sure.
All right, so do we have any age appropriate room stories to share?
Age appropriate room stories. Oh, yo, you said some stuff in the practice room.
I just prefer them to.
The one day, what'd you say the one day in practice? You like got up. I think someone like hit you or something, and you're like freaking out.
Yeah. So one of our teammates. I love how that's the first story that pops in your head.
Dennis with low back.
Yeah, so it's kind of an inside joke, but like one of our teammates like had an alter ego. We called him Dennis, and so like me and him were getting chippy, and he kind of like face palmed me in the face, and I was like, "Oh, Dennis came out to play," and everyone on the team was like, "Who's the dentist?" They thought I said dentist. So it was just funny.
This is exactly why I did this.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, well, I guess for you, Luke. So, would you, when you choose, when people don't choose bottom, is that kind of like a moral victor? Yeah, moral victory for you in a sense?
No. I mean, I want to be on top. I mean, any way I can get. So I think I'm one of the best top wrestlers in the country. I just, like I said, I got to pull the trigger on my feet, and I got to let my attacks fly. So, morally, it should be fine. I think, me personally, in my head, I think I'm just as good in neutral as I am on top. Just, I got to show that.
So, is it frustrating in a sense sometimes when, I guess for both of you, when results aren't quite there, but you know personally that you are so much better than the product that is currently being exhibited to the public? How do you go about dealing with that? Because personally, I don't think train harder is always the answer, but I could be off base.
I think there's a lot of personal stuff, a lot of behind the scenes stuff that the public never knows about that goes into those results you see. There's whether it's mental, physical, everyone's banged up, everyone has something happening to them. It comes down to the guys that can overcome it and can't. Some things just never come out, and people say, oh, he's terrible this night, but how is he so good the next night? Things happen, things go on that people don't see behind the curtain.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better, honestly. It's just like one of those things, like Luke said, there's so many things that go on behind the scenes. But for me, it's just like one of those things where you just have to be mentally strong and be like, all right, I may have gotten majored by this guy, but like that was like a 1 point match up until the end. Like, and I can beat that guy, and you have to like tell yourself those things to keep yourself plugging away, and then, come back later on in the season strong.
All right, you guys have been more than generous with their time, and before I make it sound like more than I already can, that I can't speak English because I only speak English sometimes. One more kind of entertaining one before we let y'all go. Do y'all have any weight cutting horror stories of one another, or the other way?
I actually do off the top of my head. We were getting ready for weight certs the one year, weight certifications, and me and Luke had planned on like wrestling each other. And most people probably don't know this, but Luke is like a huge sweater. Like he'll lose like 10 pounds in a practice, like it's insane. And I'm like killing myself to break a sweat. Even I'm one of those guys. So I get there and he was like already warmed up and stuff. So like as I warmed up, he's like, "Oh, let's just start wrestling." I was like, "Okay." We're wrestling for like 15 minutes and he's just like drenched and his sweat is just like cooling me down. And like, I literally can't break a sweat. And I'm like, all right, dude, you're going to have to go bike or something because I can't wrestle you. You're not going to make weight.
My one, I don't know if you remember this. This was this isn't like a horror story. This is like at Midlands, our true freshman year. He's at Rutgers. I'm at Lehigh at this time, and I'm dying to make 33. Like our coach Darius is literally just throwing me around like the morning of to make weight second day, and Paetzell's like jumping around like, "Oh, hey man, have a good weight cut." I'm like, screw this kid. Like, I can barely stand, and he's running back hallway.
Leave me alone, right? Leave the man alone.
Nobody wants to be talked to when they're having a bad weight cut.
Oh man, yeah. I can't speak from experience, but I would want to stay away from those people as much as I could. Just on the other side. All right. Well, this was a lot of fun. I hope you guys had fun.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Like an old grandpa. Like, I mean, my English speaking skills are comparable to my editing speed. So I promise I haven't forgot. I'll send both of y'all the video file, and if there are any problems with it or whatever, or if you said something that you didn't want to say, or you threw each other under the bus and you think you're gonna get in trouble, whatever, yada yada yada, you just let me know. I'll cut it out. and we'll go from there.
All right, we'll do.
Sounds
Alright.
good.
All right. Thanks so much. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day. All right.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
You too.
Seeing you, Luke.
Yep. Nice seeing you. Nice talking to you guys.
See ya. Thanks.
Ciao.
Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of The Mental Takedown. Again, like I mentioned in the beginning, my deepest apologies to both Brandon and Luke for this embarrassing snafu, which, if you know by now by watching the show, they are aplenty. If you did enjoy the content of the interview, if you would be so kind to subscribe, like, do all the stuff, I don't even know what people do nowadays. You know, every time I open up social media, there seems to be a new feature, but that's beside the point. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you again next time. Thank you.